I am program leader of the Kindakaretics Program, which is in the School of Human Movement Sciences in Health Science. And what I currently do as research is quite broad. So I do the fundamental motor development and gross motor development skills of children, as well as early intervention programs. And then one of my big passions is vision therapy, sports vision, DCD, ADHD, and how everything tells on health and wellness of the child. Early childhood development is focusing on the development of children from 0 to 7 years, where it's focused on emotional, social, health, as well as motor development of children. It is the foundation of everything of development for children, and it sets the pathway for our children. Even in countries like South Africa and even in Africa, there is ECD centers, but not a lot of our children do have the access to quality ECD. If we look at our fundamental motor skills, which is running, throwing, catching, balancing, if those skills isn't developed, the base of your house is not set. So that will then mean that if the child needs to focus in school, they will not be able to. If they need to concentrate on language skill development or social development, it's going to be a problem. Usually if your motor skill development isn't on par, it could also lead to low self-esteem, the child not being total rounded child, and they will definitely struggle in school. For me, yes, because even though our governments in Sub-Sahara is trying their best to get as much children into the ECD and early learning programs, there's still a lot of children that do not attend. And one of the reasons could be due to funding, due to lack of teachers being trained to be proper ECD teachers, programs that's not focusing on the proper development of our children, as well as just if there's not money, they're not going to come to the ECDs, or they don't know what's going on. Even though there's a lot of plans in Sub-Sahara Africa to improve our ECD settings, there's still a lack of implementing them. So there's a lot of plans, there's a lot of things that they want to do, there is policies. For instance, we do have the ECD plan to be where we want to be in 2030 in South Africa, but still 1 in 5 children do not attend our ECD centers, especially in our poorer communities and lower resource communities. The research has indicated that about 40% of our children below the age of 5 do not attend ECD, and about 50% haven't been to an ECD before they started grade R, which means that they are not set up to be ready to be into the academic world, start to learn, start to focus in the class, develop their language skills, their health, which leads to them dropping out early in school, which leads to adults not being educated enough, which leads to adults don't getting enough funding, or when they're getting paid, it is not a lot of money, which leads to a poorer community. And that is a worse cycle, keep going on and on and on. So we have to focus to make sure that we get our children earlier in our ECD centers, work with good quality teachers, good quality settings which is safe, getting parents involved, that they know what's going on and why ECD programs is so important, that we can uplift our communities in Africa. Funding. We need to make sure, the government need to make sure that the most of the funding for education goes to ECD. They have to make sure that where the parents are taking their children is safe, because as we know, in a lot of countries it's not safe to take their children out of the house setting, and a lot of the grandparents are then looking after the children because of the culture differences and what they want to protect their children. However, we need to educate our parents, we need to educate our policy makers that we need to focus on safe spaces with good equipment for our children. We need to teach students to be good ECD educators and assistants. We need to get facilitators in there to help them to make sure that they do the best for the children that we need, and that the whole child is looking after regarding their growth, their nutrition, their health and their motor development. So active play is very important, and a lot of children do not play enough these days. I understand that it's safety issues, parents want them to stay inside. If they are at ECD centres, it's too many children and too few teachers, so it's better to keep them in one place and rather focus on fine motor skills or in a setting where they don't play. But we need to get the little ones out there to play, to be active, to move, because you learn through playing, and through playing you learn. You learn cognitive skills, you learn language skills, you learn emotional skills, you learn social awareness if you play with your children. All of those is very important when you go to school. You need all of those skills to be able to sit in a classroom and focus and learn and be ready for school. Furthermore, you do not need any expensive equipment to be outside. You can just walk outside, run, make apparatus of things that lie around. So yes, so it's very important that we do keep moving and to make sure that we get that bodies out there and get healthy.